Hi Harry, hi Danii.
Hi, how are we doing?
Thanks for helping with our project.
Yeah, no problem.
So did you know that NASA is planning to send people back to the moon in 2024?
I didn't know, not until just now, no.
Oh, wow. And what do you think about that? About going into space and, spending the money to go explore?
I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah. I very much think that potentially going to the moon, as long as it can highlight the benefits of paying for it versus the research we'll discover on the moon, as opposed to potentially invested in further exploration or development into light speed travel and things like that, which will ultimately benefit us in years and years to come. I think the moon, we know a lot about it. We probably know more about the moon than we know about the sea floor and things like that.
That's true.
Yeah. But obviously, if we can go to the moon and discover facts that we don't already know that will benefit us for future space exploration, then that's positive. I just think the investment should potentially be into going further, and because the moon's very restricted, there's not as many minerals, there's no water. We could live there, but it involves taking all the resources there as opposed to sort of harvesting what's already there, and like with Mars trying to discover frozen water and things like that. Don't know, I'm going off already. You'd have me talking about this forever.
I don't mind. Danny might, but I don't.
Yeah, he'll be here all night. But so films like Martian and Interstellar.
I love that too.
Yeah, great sort of space exploration films that really highlight the key benefits of moving forward, and the way, I think it's difficult because at the same time you need to look forward, but you also need to look at what you've already got as well.
Right.
And obviously with the US, there's certain budgeting and things like that. In the minute, I believe Donald Trump's doing like a 10% overall state cut on every resource, so schools and I don't know, you call them councils in America?
In the US we have like 3 separate levels of government. You have like your city level, and then your state level, and your government.
Country. Yeah, of course. So
federal,
there's a lot of money, and I think it is good to invest in that sort of future. There's no point just ignoring it. I'm not even on the camera. No. You've got to invest in the future. It gives people a good prospect to move forward. I think as well you need to take into consideration that as much as you can spend $2 billion sending people to the moon to figure out what extra minerals might be there, $2 billion may take 1 million people out of poverty. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, you need to
explore it. Yeah.
But that's based off a system. That's not based off budgets and things like that. They go, here's the budget for this, but here's no budget for this, and it's trying to find the balance, I think. But
that's a difficult thing.
Overall, a positive sort of vibe towards that exploration, because I'm very much of a believer. I'm not religious. Are you religious?
No.
So we're not.
I used to be as a kid. My goal was to be a missionary and convert the world, and then I kind of grew up and did other things.
Figured out science. Of course. There was the same for me.
Now I'm converting the world to space.
Of course. And you have a lot of people who are skeptics and believe that NASA fakes everything.
Yeah.
That everything that they've ever done is just a big lie to try and bankrupt the Russian government and things like that. But people are going to be very skeptical, aren't they, of every aspect of it? So.
Well, I think people are very much attention seeking. And so being skeptical, people are like, oh, why don't you believe that? And how about this? And suddenly they're like the center of attention.
Because it's different, because we know now as for facts that there are certain things, but people, because they can say, oh, well, everything you've ever seen has been fake, you could say the same about anything, like, oh, you eat food every day. You go, I've tasted it, I've put it in my mouth. You go,
right.
Oh, well, the government have got sensors that make you think, and then all of a sudden, anything
the Matrix, right?
Exactly.
You're just really a body in this energy thing.
Exactly. So anything could be anybody can be a skeptic of anything. I think with space, it's because it's so much bigger than the human preconception of what the world is and the universe is, that we're all very centered.
Oh, I know.
Whereas now we've always been, we're the center of the universe, and now we're a grain of rice, a grain of sand in comparison.
In terms of our ego as a species, discovery has not been good for us.
No, definitely. We're very self-deprecating and think that we we are more important, and that's a big. I'm very much a believer of globalization. One world government, and everybody is treated equally, no matter on wealth, where you're born, what family you're born into. It's very much sort of kind of bringing everybody together. And I think space exploration does that because you did an all-women space thing recently.
Oh yeah, spacewalk with 2 women the first
it
time
was the first
last
time
year.
it was just women.
And now it's like happened like 5 times, so now it's common.
Exactly, and that's a big thing is inclusiveness, is that you don't have to be white, black to go to space and have the scientific research and things like that to be able to do that. So it's very good, it's very inclusive. There was the film as well. Is there a film coming out about women at NASA, black women at NASA?
No, that's Hidden Figures.
Oh, Hidden Figures had come out of
I've seen the trailer for that as well. But that shows the inclusiveness of NASA and things like that, and it's very forward-thinking science, and that's why I prefer it over religion. A lot of older people like religion, don't they?
You've got evidence, haven't you? Rather than just being...
Well, at least you could argue about it without having to hang anybody.
Exactly. Witches. Yeah, you talk about space 100, 200 years ago, you'd be hung for witchcraft and things like that. But I think religion is very much it's the positives, a lot of positives of religion as well. Same with science. There only seems to be positives with science, apart from splitting the atom one way or the other, whichever way we'll have to blow people up or send a rocket to Mars and things like that. But obviously there's benefits either way. So
overall, I think it's definitely a good thing to do. I think we can always learn more, can't we? And we can always, about our solar system and all that sort of stuff. But that's what it will be in years and years to come, if the human race, and I think we're so smart now that we'll never fully be eradicated as a species. So eventually there will come a time where we'll need to move, and Earth is going down a downhill spiral now, so there's no stopping the detriment of Earth. So eventually it will be colonies on Mars because it's close. Overall, probably somewhere like Mars wouldn't be ideal because you've got to bring everything there and things like that, whereas other systems in. I
think I'll do this.
I know. Your arm will be getting knackered now.
I want to be really strong at the end of one
Never had somebody talk for this long.
I feel like, but you know, one problem that I see with that is knowledge is becoming more and more like we have islands of knowledge, right? And we used to have like a farmer and he could like completely provide for himself. But now you need like an entire ecosystem. Everybody only knows like one little bitty part.
Of course.
And then you wonder, how easy would it be for that system to kind of like fall apart, and then suddenly it just like disaster.
Of course. And that's the thing. Everybody was always sustainable, but the quality of life from doing that, you can't
keep it up. It's not going
to
last forever.
She's a teacher, and I'm an account manager for an IT company. So
I work at an IT company too.
What's it called?
Anaplan.
Anaplan. Oh right. Okay. I
started here in New York actually.
Did it?
And now it's a US company. And
okay. So I work for a company called Scalp. Scan. Yeah. So we deal with custom configured workstations, all the way up to like AI as well. So we do a lot of AI work as well. So there's a lot in there, but you couldn't, going back to the being sustainable and things like that, I couldn't go and do that 9 till 5 and then go and kill a cow and cook.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's
right.
For accessibility, and I do that because then I get paid, and then I can trade my money for someone else doing something else.
Right.
And I think that's very beneficial. I think obviously on somewhere like Mars, you've got to rely on the government to get everything there in the first place. Then you have your roles, and everybody puts their effort in. As long as everybody's contributing, then that's a positive, I think.
And you're a teacher. What grades do you teach?
So I actually teach performing arts. I teach like drama, singing, all that sort of stuff. It's really interesting actually. Don't feel like I'm working, which is great.
That's the best kind of job to have.
Exactly.
One where your vocation, avocation are both the same.
Been really lucky to find something that I can do for a job that I absolutely adore doing as well. So
you don't want to leave work. As soon as I finish, I'm like, get me home.
Yeah, I'll stay for as long as I possibly can.
Well, that's good. You come watch your students perform. So
I show them videos all the time. He's probably sick of it by now.
No, definitely not.
So if it was affordable and safe, as safe as air traffic, air travel, would y'all go to space if you could?
Yeah, definitely.
100%,
definitely.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For the experience, I don't think it would be beneficial short term for me, unless I was the only one that could go up there and do something beneficial that nobody else could do. But there's obviously more qualified. If in terms of commercial space travel, it would be something that we would do.
Yeah, I'm just very nosy. I like to travel, and I feel like space
Oh,
is like
yes.
the ultimate destination, really, isn't it?
Of course. But I think I wouldn't travel unless you had the ability to go to go to Mars would be cool, but I wouldn't necessarily do it because there'd be
Make the unnecessary trip.
yeah, there would be no reason of me doing it because I haven't got great scientific knowledge of outer space.